Hi everyone, this is Yoana and with the Prosperous Agency. I am here to talk to you about Morrisville, the town of Morrisville, North Carolina, and why moving to Morrisville is a great idea. Is it growing? What's going on? If you're moving from everywhere, right, in the US, I'm guessing, or even if you're moving from India, from China, from Romania, you might consider the town of Morrisville because it's such an amazing place to live. So we are here with a special guest. He is a senior counsel for the town of Morrisville, and he has so much knowledge about this place that I just could not resist not inviting him. And he's also so charming and so sweet and so smart, you know, and so humble.
yes. Thank you, Yoana. It's
Hey,
good to be
Steve,
here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all you do.
Steve, I have all these questions that I wrote, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and just read them. Why do you think moving to Morrisville, North Carolina is a great idea, and how much is it growing?
Well, Yoana, thank you for all that you do. Well, Morrisville is one of the fastest growing towns in North Carolina. We got rated just recently as one of the top cities to live in by USA Today, Money Magazine. And that was based on a number of factors. Quality of life, public education, good schools, the median income, and just the diversity of our community. Our new brand is called Live Connected, Live Well.
Yep.
It's been our brand for about a year, but we're connected to great parks, connected to innovation, connected to almost every nation in the world. And so it's just a great place to raise a family. We also are connected to many top corporations. 55% of our revenue is commercial revenue, which is a really healthy mix of commercial and residential. And we're just really growing. I mean, just lots of great restaurants and ethnic cuisine. So it's a good place to live. Our location, we're close to, not too far from Raleigh, from Chapel Hill, UNC Duke. And we've got a lot of exciting things coming down the pipe, like a farmer's market, which is already there, a regional library that's coming. We're excited about more bus service coming with great transit.
I saw that. Yeah.
And even down the road, a commuter rail station there, which will spur what's called transit-oriented development, affordable housing, workforce housing. So I think Morrisville will be a very modern, very new town. Very eclectic, and eventually bringing in millennials and younger generation, more walkability and all kinds of things. So I think it's going to be good. We're smaller, but I think that we have a great international community. 30% of our population is Asian Indian, but we have other communities and cultures. And so it's an honor to live in such a global town.
Absolutely. And so that leads me to the next question. I know your council adopted a strategic plan last year.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Our strategic plan, and this was a long process working with citizens and stakeholder groups to come up with our strategic plan to the Live Connected, Live Well brand, basically focus on some major goals. The top one is transportation mobility, because that is one concern we have. We're going to talk then about challenges, traffic congestion, how do we get people around, transportation mobility, livable neighborhoods, public safety, inclusivity, economic prosperity, which means jobs and economic development. And we've also added one called education, because there's been a concern of, are we growing too fast, and do we need more schools? Do we need to expand more school offerings from high schools? We only have 2 schools in Morrisville, now 3, and they're all elementary. So do you want to have a high school? So we're working with the school board, but we thought having an advisory committee on education would be good. So we just had the first educational advisory charter approved by the council, and this will bring in parents and academic leaders to talk about the kinds of education, the kinds of curriculum we want in our schools to train our kids for the new jobs.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so we can get you some information on that. But that's our strategic plan.
Okay, and so what are some of your top achievements in the past years? Because you're so active in everything. You're just everywhere, and everybody knows you. So
I appreciate that. Well, I bring a different perspective than some elected officials, and I'm a senior executive at Alpha America and at a global tech company. So I'm in innovation and technology a lot. I work with entrepreneurs a lot, and so my proudest achievement is being one of the people to start with the Morrisville Chamber, the Hot Innovation Program. It's really grown into a really good incubation program for startups and entrepreneurs. And now we've got startups coming out that want to actually get venture funding and angel funding. And David Gardner, the angel investor, is starting to share office hours with me, where he's coming into City Hall and entrepreneurs are coming. So it's really, really exciting. And
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that achievement.
That's awesome.
And now that's leading into, do we want to have more incubation spaces like a WeWorks or a co-founder lab in Cary? So I even have developers now coming and bringing those plans. So that's one of my proudest achievements. The other thing is I'm very connected. I know a lot of people, and so I've had the opportunity of bringing in, building relationships with transportation secretaries like Secretary Tata Tennyson, now the Cooper administration, Secretary Trogdon, working as a salesman for the council, making sure that we're in the position to get the kind of funding that we need and our projects moved up in priority so that we're not congested on 54 as long as we all are congested on 54. I've also hosted the Secretaries of Commerce, Chris Chung, Ryan Combs from RTRP, Scott Levitan from RTP for a town hall meeting a few weeks ago where we had a really good conversation on economic development. And the other things that I'm doing is focusing on making Morrisville, my passion is technology, and I want to become a smart city. So my goal in the next 2 years is to make Morrisville the smartest, most technologically advanced town or city in the state. We have tremendous innovation, technology, so we've hired a CIO. It took me 4 years to get that position approved, but now that CIO is going to be doing what Cary and Raleigh is doing, which is having data, having apps on your phone, being able to track energy usage in buildings, where you can park, being able to interact with technology in real time, which is, so my goal is, and so those are the kinds of things, but I also want to thank my colleagues on the team. We've had very successful achievements over the last 8 years that I've been on the council, working with former Mayor Stolman, Liz Johnson, who's one of my colleagues on the council. I also want to thank Vicki Scroggins Johnson, my colleague, who's now the mayor pro tem. I was the mayor pro tem before her. She's really taken the lead to bring affordable housing into the conversation.
Wow, yeah, that's needed.
And I want to thank Vicki if she's listening today. Hey Vicki, but she's on the Wake County Wake County Affordable Housing Plan, but bringing affordable housing in. So we just approved our first development of 20 units.
Right.
And we're going to have a study that's being done that's given to council.
That's
so
awesome.
I have so much.
Do you know where that's going to happen?
The first one is a Wood Partners project that's on the CVS behind, on the intersection with Davis Drive. There's a CVS, and it's going to be behind there where the Veda Gardens used to be. 220 units, and it's going to be really nice apartments. And they're going to invest over $800,000 in road construction, $500,000 in parks. They're going to bury the utility lines, so $1.6 million of investment, plus they're going to build sidewalks and connect to the Greenway.
Wow,
so
that's huge.
I supported it because of the connection to our strategic plan.
Mobility,
livable neighborhoods, public safety in terms of having sidewalks where we can walk. And, so it's a really great opportunity.
That is amazing, you guys. So if you're considering moving to Morrisville, you should definitely share this with any of your friends, your family, so they know what are we thinking about. Maybe 2022, what do you think the goal for the finalizing the project would be for the affordable housing?
So as one of the beautiful, this is important for people to know.
Right.
When developers come before the council, we can ask for conditions. It was a rezoning.
Yes.
So one of the conditions is they agreed to 20 affordable units.
Okay.
And I believe it's important because I'm the son-in-law of United States veterans, and if you're listening to this show, you've served our country. We want to thank you. But housing for veterans. Housing for firefighters, for police, for teachers.
Right.
And so affordable housing is something that, so 20 units out of 220, so it's a start.
Yes.
We just recently approved another plan on Aviation Parkway, a mixed-use project. It's called Aviation Landing, and I think that's going to have a few affordable units. Okay. So this is something that's good. And
so what's the plan for finalizing them?
Yeah, well, the plan now, the process has been voted on by the council.
Okay.
Now they will work with our planning department. They will come up with their plans. They will submit that to the department. The department will review.
Right.
It takes about 6 months to a year. You won't see building begin till about 2020.
Okay.
The good news,
somewhere around 2022, somewhere there, or maybe even 2021, depending.
Absolutely.
Well, 20 units is not such a...
20 units is not a lot, but it's a start, and it's something that we can move forward with.
Okay, so I guess I have covered the where do we see Morrisville 5 years from now. Kinda, you've told us a lot. And what sets you apart? You personally. That's more about you than about the town of Morrisville. Just you and everything that you do.
Well, I think I just have a different type of experience. I mean, I think number one, I'm a salesman. I just am so good at connecting with others and building relationships. I'm a relationship guy. And I think that helps me in my role as a council and for the council, because I'm there always positioning our town, because it's all about relationships, So making Morrisville a part of the conversation on technology, making Morrisville, just having David Gardner come to Morrisville is big. He's one of the lead angel investors, and he's very happy with what I'm doing to grow startups. And we're working on bringing the Startup Summit to Morrisville next year. And so just these are things that are more disruptive, where I'm actually out there promoting, just like a salesman in my career.
Right.
I'm starting a new program called Tech Talk Thursdays, where every fourth Thursday we're going to bring a technology leader to come and talk about AI and robotics and the future of jobs, working with companies like Infosys. So that's one thing. And I think just I love to make people smile. I'm witty. I like to joke.
He likes to sing. I
like
can
to
vouch
sing. I like to
for
do
his singing.
But I just like to make people happy, and I'm a relatively. My mom is one of my heroes, and she always taught me. She still lives in Morrisville, but she always taught me to look for the best in others. And and I have so many heroes. My in-laws who were U.S. Air Force colonels. My father-in-law just passed away in May, and the one thing he told me, is always just put yourself in any role where you're helping people. So at the end of the day, it sounds so very basic, but I think sometimes in politics we forget that. It becomes more about party and loyalty rather than just what can I do.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to putting veterans back to work. So one of the things I'm doing as a hobby is I'm hosting a wheelchair tennis clinic tomorrow at the Cary Tennis Park for paraplegics. And as a former college player, I'm passionate about tennis, but how can we use a sport and my influence as elected officials? So I'm kicking it off at the Cary Tennis Park. Veterans who might have lost their limbs or couldn't walk anymore can go out and take a free clinic. Just this week I interviewed Treasurer Dale Falwell. I had former Commerce Secretary Sharon Decker. I've had nonprofits, leaders. 15 minutes, they come and they tell me what we're doing, and that's led me to be doing more commentating gigs on WPTF. I'm doing stuff for WRAL. So hey, if politics doesn't work out, maybe I'll get a news show.
So I'm just going to make this question public now. To the beautiful wife of Steve Rao out there, do you ever see your husband?
She does.
I want to share
I want to
something
thank my
with
wife.
you.
She's awesome.
I want to share something. Before we started, he said, I miss my children so much. He said, I've never not been there for them when they wake up and when they go to bed. That's what he just told me before we started this interview. Come here closer to me so people can see you. But we're talking to a son. We're talking to a son. His mom is in Morrisville. We're talking to a father. We're talking to a loyal husband. We're talking to someone that's so compassionate that you can see. It's so intense, right? It's not just talk. It's just amazing. It's just mind-blowing. And literally, I'm wondering, does this guy ever sleep? Like
9 hours a night.
9 hours?
Yep. That's my secret.
Hey, I'm like down
8.5 hours. Yeah, 8.5, and I work out really hard.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I don't drink.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
I only on Christmas and Thanksgiving. So.
And so, what are your greatest challenges then?
Okay, well, our greatest challenges, it's a good way to end with a little humor. I'm not a cardiologist, but I think it's fair to say in Morrisville that it's time for a full vascular bypass. All major arteries are blocked. and so the good news is we've got some relief on the way. Not open heart surgery, but we've got over 350. Our greatest challenge is transportation. I mean, that's to answer your question.
Yeah.
But I'll end with this. We have a lot of exciting projects. We have over $350 million from the DOT coming in for NC 54, Aviation Parkway, Airport Boulevard Interchange, Louis Stevens Drive. That's all been approved. NC 54, except for the partner of the tracks, but we're working on that. We have two exciting projects, if you're listening. Morrisville Carpenter Road widening, which was a $9 million project. We put in $3 million. That was federally funded. And the McCrimmon bypass, where the McCrimmon dead ends and sheets, it's going to become a 4-lane expressway. So by the end of 2020, the good news is we're going to have 2 4-lane roads. I think that's going to ease traffic. And we've got the McCrimmon corridor, which is the next wave of development in Morrisville, over 300 acres. And we've got the Wake Competition Center, which is going to open soon. That's on McCrimmon. National ice training, ice hockey, ice skating, and volleyball.
I've heard about
Yeah, and so if you're interested in Morrisville, either to sell real estate or you want to come and please have them connect with me. And then also for the commercial side, please have them connect with me. And it's great to be in Morrisville. And we thank you for thinking of us. And if there's any way I can help, I want to thank Yoana Nin and the Prosperous Agency team for all you do.
Correction, Yoana.
Yoana, sorry. Yoana, sorry.
We had to end with a little correction.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You are an inspiration.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm just doing my job one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. And guys, have a great spring, evening, afternoon out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening, you guys. And if you want to move to Morrisville, or if you know of anyone that is considering relocating to North Carolina, to this area, it's a wonderful place to live, and we would love to welcome you here and put you in contact with beautiful, amazing, humble, compassionate Steve Rao. Thank you so much. Yoana Nin with the Prosperous Agency. Stay tuned for our next video.
Live connected, live well. Thank you.